Right, welcome to the programme. I'm Nils Gaspar, live in the newsroom in Atlanta. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Donald Trump yesterday sent out 3 tweets saying that transgender people would be barred from entering the US military. However, fighting the people who are currently there in the military can stay as of right now. Joining me now is Liam Robinson. Liam, good to have you on. Welcome back.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
So Liam, as we know, you've been on the show before talking about transgender issues, and you yourself are transgender. So Trump yesterday said that transgender people would not be allowed to enlist in the military. However, the Pentagon has said that they can, the people who are currently there can stay in the military. What do you make of Trump's decision? He announced it by Twitter. I believe we can put up those tweets. He announced it by Twitter, and he didn't announce it officially. Do you think he should have announced it officially? And what do you make of the decision?
In my opinion, I see it as offensive, and he was relating to the cost of how much the medical intervention for transgender people are, which, in my opinion, is it's insulting, considering that they're spending a fraction of their cost on transgender people. They're spending about $8.2 million compared to Viagra, which they are spending, which is $42 million.
So you're saying the military is spending more on Viagra than on transgender people?
Yes.
Interesting. So I would assume do you believe that there is, you were talking about the costs, do you believe that there is a cost associated with being trans in the military?
Well, I believe that most transgender people do not join the military for the free health care involved. They join it to serve the country. They don't do it for benefits or, going as a trans person. It's hard to just go out of the house most of the time, let alone grab a gun and fight for what we believe is right.
So essentially you are being told that you cannot serve in the military and fight for the country you live in and love so much.
Yes.
Okay, so do you think that there will be a change in policy? He obviously came up with this with the generals. Do you think the LGBT community can change something regarding this decision by President Trump?
There has already been several outrages. There has been petitions on change.org, which I recently just signed. We are about 20,000 off of the goal of 200,000, and this has only been 24 hours, so there is clearly a lot of people very upset about this, considering there is about 15,000 members that are trans in the military at this current time.
Mm-hmm. Right, and as of right now, we know that they're going to stay in the military currently. Do you see this as a distraction from the current political climate in Washington, given the issues with Attorney General Jeff Sessions?
I believe what Trump says is this is a distraction. What's more of a distraction is making this public. What a lot of people have said is, I agree with this because transgender people are more likely to have mental health issues. Yes, the statistics for trans suicide is like 50% more likely in teens, and I get that. But what should happen is, there should be more checks in place if you are trans, or just the whole general public trying to enter the military, but not put an entire ban just because you're transgender on it.
Right, and you talk about the costs associated with being trans in the military. We do have a map of countries that allow transgender people in the military currently. I think we can pull that up. But the countries consist of Australia, Canada, France, and the UK, and a couple of other European countries in there. And obviously they have not had a hindrance in ability to fight by allowing the transgender community to fight in their military. And Liam, lastly, is there something you want to add?
Transgender people are not, just soldiers. They are generals, colonels, lieutenants, managers. They're not just soldiers. They are high up.
Mm-hmm.
There's different levels. Just because they're in the military doesn't mean that they're just soldiers. They are high up, and what this could do is, if this goes through and the ban completely gets rid of all transgender people, this will cause a very, very big disruption with the military, because having to replace people who are very, very high up just because they're trans is kind of irrelevant and just unnecessary. It causes too much distraction, and with what's going around North Korea right now, this could really affect us, because what if their ballistic missiles all of a sudden get perfected and we could end up in a world war? This, it's a disruptive, thing that can just be solved by one simple little thing. You don't ban, and you just do more background screens.
North Korea has been very provocative with their threats with the US and other countries, particularly South Korea. Liam Robinson, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you.
Alright, and that does it for us here in the newsroom, live from Atlanta. I'm Mr. Gaspar. Thank you so much for joining me.